Hey Paris, how you doing? Okay, so I just want to remind you to make sure you post this over in the critique board. Um, it looks like you had overlooked placing this in your initial post. That was the initial post where um, you had the two response posts. So as opposed to grouping your response posts together and uh, posting those together, post each individual response post underneath the person who you're critiquing. Do you see what I'm saying? That way it's more organized. So we know that this comment belongs with this submission. Does that make sense? So try to do that and just make sure you get this in here because technically Sunday is the deadline for the critique board. So you still have time to get it in. So provided you get it in by Sunday. Okay. So I see that there's no PDF posted here, so I can't really zoom in. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of scrolling here. I won't be able to zoom in. So sometimes it's a great idea to add that PDF because that way I can zoom in and show you things that are at a closer view than I can get just basically viewing this an image that's posted in line with your body copy. So the poster itself, I just can't believe how far this has come, Paris. I'm just blown away. I mean, it's gorgeous. You've done a really nice job. Illustrative technique is outstanding. Stylistically, there's nothing here that's dissimilar than anything else. So everything looks like it belongs in the group. Wonderful color palette. You got a nice mix of cools and warms, and the sunglasses, the fruit. This is good stuff. A couple of recommendations I do have. Oh, and by the way, this was great practice here. Adding a gradient to a stroke. That's good stuff. I'm sorry, I said that backwards. Adding a stroke to a gradient. That's good stuff right there. All right, a couple of things that we can do to increase the harmony here a little bit. And we've got three colors that are so similar, actually four areas where the colors are very, very similar. And by making those colors identical as opposed to similar, we're not changing any inherent meaning in the composition, but we're going to add harmony based on similarity of color. Okay, and the four areas I should say that I'm talking about are the color of the frames, the color of house, the color of the fruit, and the darkest part of the gradient on the red side. So if you were to, let's say you would say you want to use this color of the grapefruit. So you get in there, you sample that color, you get that color into your palette. Then you go ahead and change this to that color, change the frames to that color, and maybe even change the gradient from this color to yellow to this color to yellow. That'll really tie things together significantly in terms of color harmony. So one of the things that's happening here, and it's the way that we perceive things and how we perceive two things that are very similar but not identical. Specifically, when they're located in the same composition, our mind says, "Wait a second, those are really close." But they're not identical. Should they be? And we don't want the viewer to go through these scenarios in their head. We want everything to be obvious. We want the viewer to look at this and say, not say, hey, those colors are similar, but hey, those colors are identical. Okay, now, if they are, and this is the way it's rendered on the computer, please forgive my comments, but right now it certainly looks like that's a different hue than that. And again, so we're just gonna bring some color consistency into the mix, okay? The piece itself is really super inviting. I mean, I want to walk up to this poster. If I saw it on the wall, I would approach it. It's just really friendly and very inviting. I do have a couple of comments. A couple of comments I want to make have to do with what we call proximity. Proximity is an element in design whereby the element of proximity dictates that things that belong in the same group are located close together in the same composition. Conversely, you can create groups and give the illusion that things fit together by placing them together close in a composition, all right? And again, the flip side is that anything that logically belongs together should be placed close together in the composition. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, so for example, you've got right down here, kind of seemingly floating down here off on its own, you've got DJ, games, and food. All right, now DJ, games, and food is closely in proximity to free event, right? But that relationship doesn't create a complete thought, all right? What area in this composition is this mostly closely related to? It's most closely related to the beach house party, right? And we make other groups, okay? So for example, we have the when, the where, the time, and the age. That's good grouping right there. That's a perfect example of proximity. All of these have a very close relationship, and they're also closely located, or placed in terms of proximity close to one another, right? That's called grouping, and that is very, very effective. It improves hierarchy, it improves the delivery of any message. What I recommend is this. So we take a look at free event, who again is kind of sitting down here in no man's land. Can we group free event with anything? We could group it with beach house party, but we could also group it with the main information. This is the what. This is the where, when, how, what, where, when, why, how, right? So adding free event to this would make sense, right? Conversely, adding DJ, games, food to beach house party would make sense, as opposed to having them kind of down here in no man's land. My recommendation for the poster is this. Little bit of reconfiguring, but it's going to work beautifully. What we're going to do is this. We're going to take this whole section of text right here, and we're going to move it down to about right here. So it's anchoring the poster. This may entail, well, it will entail moving the fruit up here somewhere, which is fine because it'll counter those glasses quite nicely. So this piece of fruit right here, type move down right here. You consider, take a look and see how you want to determine the placement of that umbrella, whether it stays the same or moves up. Determine that once you place the type and see how that behaves. And then take free event, and I would reduce the size there, and I would place it right up there. Free event, when, time, where, age. So you have that typographic configuration right down here. And then DJ, games, and foods. Instead of stacking those, I would say DJ, games, and food underneath beach house party right there. Okay, try it. It'll improve hierarchy. It'll improve grouping. It'll improve informational organization, and subsequently improving the way the viewer receives the message. Remember my comments on color. Those are very relevant as well. Really, by the way, fantastic illustrations. I want to mention that again. My only other comment is the glasses. Would it make sense to kind of darken these lenses a little bit so they're more indicative of sunglasses than glasses? Think about it. All right, really good job, Paris. Really super impressed here. You've worked very hard on this, and it shows. So fantastic job. Thanks. Hey, any questions, comments, concerns, clarifications, any of the above? Let me know. I'll be glad to clarify. All right, great job. I had fun with this poster. I hope you did too. Thank you.